So somebody has come to visit. Who's this? Huh? Doing? All right, buddy. I gotta. Buddy, butter. So, hi everybody. Hi all, it's Kelly from Loch Briar Knits, coming to you from a sunny Nova Scotia, Canada, where I live with my husband and my very clownish golden retriever who just popped in for a visit while I was trying to get set up. It is a sunny Friday the 13th in October, and it finally feels like fall. Last weekend was our Canadian Thanksgiving long weekend, and it was hot, like stinking hot. People were apparently at the beach swimming in the ocean. And it's not the Pacific Ocean, people, it's the Atlantic, and it's cold, even on the warmest days. So, I don't know. Not me. I was sitting here. We returned from our vacation in Scotland on Saturday morning, and I had picked up a head and chest cold the night before we left. So it was great in the sense that it didn't affect the vacation at all. We did everything. I felt perfectly fine, and then the evening before we were to leave, I thought my throat feels a little scratchy. It feels a little weird. I think I'm getting a cold. And sure enough, I was getting a cold. So we got home, and for the weekend, I was pretty much I was out of it. And then I had to go back to work on Tuesday. I should have stayed home, but I knew there's like going to be piles of stuff on my desk, which there was. And there were some other things that came up that, I really needed to be there for. And I kept thinking, okay, well, the next day I'm just going to take the day off and rest, because I wasn't getting any better, which is really unusual for me. Usually 3 days max is my cold cutoff. But I wasn't getting any better, and I was going on these coughing jags through the night, so I wasn't sleeping. I thought I just need a day of rest. So, but then the next day I was like, oh, I have to get this done, I have to get that done. And anyway, finally I got everything out of the way yesterday, and I told my boss I'm just going to stay home on Friday and rest. And he's really great about, if you're sick, stay home, and there was actually 2 of us in the office with this head cold. So I went home and I stayed home. So I slept like right through the night. I didn't wake up coughing last night, finally. And so far I haven't been coughing too much today. I'm hoping that stays that way. I slept like half the day and I feel so much better. So I thought, I'm going to podcast now instead of tomorrow, because, did I mention this was a knitting podcast, by the way? I didn't, did I? I don't know. This is a knitting podcast where I talk about knitting and hand dyeing and any other crafty goodness that comes up. So welcome to the new subscribers and the returning subscribers, and just new viewers, old viewers. I love you all. Thank you. Thank you so much for showing up. And for all you returning viewers, my openings. We won't even go there. So, I know I was talking about something else, but before I forget, I brought tea home from Scotland. Woo! This one is called Edinburgh Heather, and it's really good. It's like a black tea, which I usually don't drink, but this one's really good, and it's from Scotland. So anyway, what was I even talking about before I remembered? I forgot to welcome everybody and say what this was about. I don't know. Oh yeah, so you may notice that I'm not in my usual place. This is where I actually podcasted my very first podcast. So here's the story of my never-ending attempt to renovate my office downstairs. So we got back from Scotland, and my plan was, okay, the following weekend, I'm going to paint the walls, and then the weekend, which would be this weekend, I'm going to paint the walls. I'm just painting them like a white, and I'm going to use pops of colors will come from like whatever I put on the walls, picture-wise and that kind of thing. And then the white would be kind of a good blank canvas. And it also shows up, it's a good kind of podcasting background. So, especially where down in the dungeon, where my office is, in the basement, it doesn't get a whole lot of natural light. So the white background just kind of works better. So, my plan was to paint the walls this weekend, and then next weekend when I'm away at my writer's retreat, my husband was going to put down the new floors. So that's not going to happen. And here's why. Because I mentioned several podcasts back that my father-in-law, who lives in Ontario, bought a property down here, and his intent was for us to use it, and he would use it when he came down. My thing was, that's fine, appreciate it. I just don't want to have to take on the work of another house. I can barely keep this house cleaned. Literally, if I flip this camera around and you saw the state of the kitchen right now. So every time we turn around, there seems to be something that we have to do with the house. Which, anyway, then my father-in-law announces that he's coming down today. And he's going to start moving some stuff in. Now, the man's like 70 plus. I don't know. He's like 72, 73. Clearly, he's not going to be moving. It's like a salt box house. So when you walk in, the stairs to go upstairs, the stairs also go down, are kind of steep and winding. This guy's not going to be carrying mattresses and bed frames up there on his own, unless we want to inherit the house much sooner than we had intended. So my husband's going to have to help him with that, but that also means he's going to have to come and stay in our spare room because he's not going to get the stuff set up that first night. So all the stuff I had moved out of my office up into the spare room, I now have to move it back down into my office, which means I can't wash the walls or paint the walls this weekend because I need an empty office, or at least a mostly empty office, so that I can actually access the walls and move around in there. And I can't paint it next weekend because I'm not going to be here. So, meanwhile, my office is in disarray. So that's why we're in the kitchen. Long story, longer. Anyway, yeah. So, and then I thought, well, if he's going to be here tomorrow, I might as well podcast now because we'll have my stepson tomorrow. It's just going to be a full house. I haven't had a glass of wine since we left Edinburgh because I've been sick and looped up on cold medicine, but I'm buying myself some wine tonight. I'm going to need it for this weekend. So, that's the intro. Where can you find me? Here. And on Instagram and Twitter, which I'm hardly ever on. I'm always on Instagram, hardly ever on Twitter. but it's same at Kelly L Boyce, and I'll drop the stuff down here and do a little box. I think it's over here. Let's see, Facebook page, Etsy shop, and Ravelry group are all Loch Briar Knits, and my username on Ravelry is Loch Briar. And I think that's everything. So that's where you can find me. So pop on over to the Ravelry group and join. That's where I keep all the show notes and everything. And also, I keep meaning to mention there's an Ask Me Anything thread in the Ravelry group. If you want to ask me anything about, projects I'm working on, knitting, life stuff, writing. Yeah, so that's where to find me. There's only one other thing for the admin. 2 episodes ago, I drew a winner for the 100 plus subscribers. And Lori Adams, you were the winner, but I haven't heard from you. So I'm going to give you until the next podcast. And if I haven't heard from you, then I'm going to redraw, because one of the skeins was the Christmas colorway. So I'd really like to get it out before Christmas. So contact me at my Gmail address, which I will put down here. Or if it's easier for you, you can also send me an email on Ravelry. My username is lochbriar. And just let me know where to send the prize. And if I don't hear from you before I film for the next podcast in a couple weeks, then I'll have to redraw and I'll announce the new winner on the next podcast. So let's say if I don't hear from you by Friday, I'm looking at my calendar. I can't believe we're halfway through October already. If I don't hear from you by the 27th of October, I'll redraw and announce the new winner on the next podcast. So that's it for administration. We're going to go in to acquisitions. So, acquisitions. Did you hear that? I think that's my work phone. Anyway, acquisitions. I'm going to keep that on. If you hear the little phone beepy, then just ignore it. Just in case something urgent comes up. Anyway, acquisitions. Okay, so first, before we get too far into acquisitions, I'm just going to say this is an embarrassing amount. But here's why. First off, not all of it is stuff that I bought. My fiber share partner, Rhonda from North Carolina, sent me my package, and it arrived and was sitting there for me. It arrived on Friday, and I got home from Scotland Saturday morning. So it was sitting there for me waiting, and I was so excited. It was such a beautiful package. So I'm going to show you. I'm just going to show you some of the goodies she sent, because she sent a ton. Like, spoiled rotten. I am. But some of the purchases I got when I was in Scotland, and part of my plan was to go to some of the local yarn shops. So it turns out one of the yarn shops that I really wanted to go to was about maybe like an 8-minute walk from our hotel. So I ended up getting my first pair of HiyaHiya Sharps. And I only bought one pair. She had several there. I only bought one pair because I've heard people say how sharp they are. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to test it out first. But before, you know, I go crazy and buy all of the HiyaHiya Sharps in every size and shape and whatever. So I have to say, oh my God, I love these. And I think I realized what, I'll try to open it here. Why I don't find them. I mean, they are super sharp. They're stinking sharp. See if you can, like, they're super sharp. So, pointy stabby. But I realized that when I'm knitting, I don't push down on the tip of the needle. I actually sort of nudge it from the side. So the sharpness wasn't bothering me at all. But boy, these things are sweet to knit with. So I actually cast on a pair of socks when I was there, because in the evenings, we didn't really go out too much in the evenings. We'd usually get back sometime after supper and then just kick back. Because here's the thing. When we arrived at the hotel around, I think it was 9:30 in the morning, because we flew overnight. We hadn't slept because we were in the very back row of the plane, so you couldn't even like recline your seat. Like, you could recline it maybe that much, which was just a tease. And then the elderly lady who was sitting in front of us got violently ill. Like, they had a couple of nurses who were on the plane kind of attending to her. They were really concerned when we landed. The paramedics came on, and I let out a little squeal of joy because all these like Scottish paramedics, and they were lovely. Thankfully, by then, she was feeling much better, but she started getting sick maybe 2 hours into the flight, just violently ill for about an hour. And then it stopped, and she started getting better. But I think she had a bit of a heart condition, so they were a little concerned. So anyway, clearly, we didn't sleep on the plane. And then we got to the hotel, and my husband gets bad motion sickness, and he made the mistake of sitting in the back seat of the car that was driving us from Glasgow to Edinburgh, because we took a direct flight to Glasgow. And so between getting over cold, not sleeping all night, at this point we'd been awake for like 24 hours straight, and then he got bad motion sickness driving in the back seat of the car, and he was just, anyway, we got there, and I happened to mention it was our anniversary because the day we landed was our anniversary. So the hotel upgraded. First off, the hotel, we stayed at the Marriott Residence Inn near the university, which was a beautiful location. And they arranged for us to get an early check-in, and then they bumped us up from just like the one-bedroom studio, the small room, to a studio, or to a suite. So we had the living room area, we had a bedroom like separated from that, we had a kitchenette. It was awesome. It was awesome. No charge. Happy anniversary. So anyway, my husband spent the first day in bed. So I went out exploring, and I found, which I have no sense of direction. So I went out exploring, couldn't find what I was looking for, had to come back to the room, map it out again, and then leave, and then I found it. I'm surprised that they didn't pick me up somewhere in like Dublin. So, but my point being, before I went off on that tangent, this is going to be the day where I just go off on tangents. Anyway, we would come back in the evenings and just kick back and, you know, watch some TV and relax. So I had brought some yarn and stuff to knit on with me, which I had no problem with the taking my knitting needles on the plane. Either way. So that was really good. Anyway, so I started knitting. I cast on a pair of socks on the HiyaHiya Sharps to test them out. And I love them so much. Like, I just crazy love them. So I think it was probably 2 days later, I thought, you know what, I'm going to go back up there because they had like, well, I bought these, and then I also bought a local hand dyer called Cosmic Strings. So if you can see, can you really, honestly, the colors in this is amazing. I just like, I'm gonna sit back here so you can kind of get the full brilliance. I mean, honestly, I can't even. Let's see if I can show you. This is the, there we go, Cosmic Strings. So apparently she's local, or at least local as in Scotland. I'm trying to see if it, I don't have my glasses on. I can't see a damn thing. Hand-dyed in Edinburgh. So, and I wanted to try to get some local stuff. So anyway, I got that. A couple days later, I'm madly in love with the HiyaHiya Sharps, and I decided I'm going to go back. And so I did. And I got some more. But I also picked up some Knit Pro Zings, which I've also heard about, but I just haven't seen anywhere around me. And I can't get the HiyaHiya Sharps around me either. So yeah, I stashed up on those. But when I went back the second time, I also got a yarn I've been dying to try, but again, I haven't been able to find around here. Madeline Tosh. So, and this is her Twist Light Base. And it looks like it's called, yeah, it is. This is Envy, which makes sense if you can, oh, look at that. Oh, love, love, love. So, finally, got me some Mad Tosh. So that was my Scotland purchases. So here's the thing. I barely spent any money in Scotland. So then I got home and I had been saving up all year for this trip. And I went and I had 600 pounds. And you know, some of that was going to food and some like entry into some of the different things we wanted to see. But I literally bought this sweater. I bought a really nice backpack, which was sort of my big splurge. And I bought the needles and 2 skeins of yarn. So when I came home, I came home with most of my money. And I thought that is a really good reason to go down to my local yarn store and stock up on some more yarn because clearly I don't have enough. So I went down to the Loop and I decided I'm just going to treat myself to a few skeins. So first off, I've got a couple of these project bags that Mimi, who's the shop owner, her mom sews them up. And I love them because they're really I'm going to show it to you and you'll understand. So I have 2 of them. I have one that's got mittens on it and the other one has birds on it. And my fiber share partner that I was sending to Jennifer in the Netherlands, I sent her one that had ships and waves on it. And she's like me. She's like, these things are so stashable. So then I went in last week, early in the week, I think, and I saw this one. with the chickens on it. And the green is a little washed out. It's actually brighter than that. But oh my God, like seriously, how could I not? So these are great because they've got the little loop, her little logo on there. So they're drawstring and they're lined. You know what? I never even thought about this. I could just be like, why have I not been doing that? But I actually bought 3 skeins of yarn while I was there, and they all fit in this, and this is how I carried them home. But I love this bag. Like, I love these bags anyway, because honestly, you put your knitting thing in there, and they smoosh up. I put them in my backpack, and I can fit them in every little corner that I need to. So that was my project bag purchase. And then I'm on an Yvie Knits kick, clearly, because I had to get some more of her self-striping yarn. So this one is, yeah, they're both self-striping, yeah. So this one is called Pink Sunset. And this is self-striping. So that's, let me see if I can, yeah. So, here we go. It's Yvie Knits, so there's her her web address down there. So she does these great self-striping. So you get like really thin lines between like thin stripes and then thicker stripes and then a thin stripe. It's really beautiful. I don't know how she does it. I would love to figure out how to dye self-striping yarn. Maybe I'll put that on my list for next year. Things to accomplish next year. So that was one, and that was the Pink Sunset, and this is Hosta's, which is, and of course, it's much brighter than what my camera shows, as usual. So this is Hosta's, and again, that's self-striping as well. So it's all these different kind of tones of bright green and darker green. And then there's this Zauberball that I have been eyeballing since it came in. And finally, I said, screw it. I'm going to get it. So let me just see. This is going to be how it knits up. So again, the green, but it's like pinks, kind of bright pinks, and then a little paler pinks, and these lovely spring green. So, and that's 75% superwash, 25% polyamide. I think that's how it breaks down. So, yay! So that was my little purchase there. Then, on Thursday, I think, Andrea Mallory came out with this. The Comfort Fade Cardi. So here's the thing. On Wednesday, I was like, you know what? I really want to knit myself a cardigan. Like, just not like a sweater like this or a jumper, as they say in England, but just a cardigan that I can kind of throw on, whatever. And then, of course, the next day, doesn't this get released? And so, clearly, a sign from the universe. Which meant I needed to go pick up a bunch of yarn to fade. So I went down to the loop again. And I'm going to try not to rustle. There's going to be a little rustling. I bought a sweater's quantity. And here's the thing. I went down there and I kind of had a vague idea. My comfort zone is grays and navy. I'm a gray and navy kind of girl. And brown. Some green. I'm all about the earth tones, navy and gray. So I went down there and that's kind of what I had in my head, thinking, you know, because, but there was also part of me thinking I kind of like to go like a little outside of the box. So maybe for the brighter color, like the turquoisey that she's got here, I would do like maybe a crazy pop of color that I wouldn't normally do. And then I get down there and I showed the pattern to Mimi, who's the shop owner, and we picked out the yarn that I was going to use. And it came in this like large array. And I decided not to go with hand-dyed yarn because I didn't want to have to, where I'm just really, really new to sweater knitting. I didn't want to have to deal with switching the skeins just to make sure there wasn't any pooling. So we picked out I don't know if it's support. I picked out a merino, but it's recycled merino. So do my little part for the earth. Does that count? But she picked out these 4 different color schemes, and most of them were kind of in my comfort zone. One was not, and I kept gravitating towards it. Now it's partially in my comfort zone because it has gray, but the other colors are really not my thing. But when I was looking at the 4 different color schemes that she pulled out, and she went to town, she was having a blast picking out these color schemes. I think we could have been there all afternoon. Anyway, this is what we ended up with. Now, hopefully the colors aren't blowing out too much here. So it's Amore 160, and it is from Borgo di Pazzi, which is in Italy. So we've got, here's where the turquoise, this is my pop of color. It's a really deep, rich purple. And then, of course, I still have my gray because you know, gray. And then this is like a lilac color. It's not really pink. So this is like a lilac-y color. Sort of borderline, maybe borderline pink. There we go. But lilac-y pink. Which I don't do pink. But I like this. And then this is a pale, like pale blue. But it's got, and I don't know if you can see it here, but it's got this hint of almost lavender in it. So it goes so well with these. So this is going to be my Comfort Fade Cardi. And I'll talk more about that in, what's in the queue. And this has been a long section. So I'm actually going to stop the acquisitions here. I do have my fiber share stuff that my fiber share partner gave me. But I think what I'm going to do, I may hold on to that until next episode. So that's that. So we're going to move on to whips. I have a hoe. I think this will work. Okay. So this is my, sock number 1. These are my honey pot socks. And let me see if I can, there you go. That helps get the sunshine off it a little. This color is just like this beautiful, rich, it doesn't show up as, you don't get as much of the orangey brown in here, but it literally, think of like a nice rich honey color, and wow, I love these. This was from Yvie Knits, again, because apparently I need all of her sock yarn. This wasn't one of her self-striping, obviously. But yeah, so I finished this. I literally finished this up before I started podcasting because I just had the toe. I had like about that much left to do. I just had to shape the toe. They fit perfect. They're actually a little shorter. Usually I make my socks kind of longer, maybe to about there. So these ones are a little shorter than I normally make them, but that kind of works a little better for my shorter boots, my hiking boots, that kind of thing. So that's my hoe. I did these on the HiyaHiya Sharps, and I did 64 stitches, and just I did an eye of, I think it's called an eye of partridge heel, I think. Yeah. There you go. Eye of partridge. And then just like the 2x2 rib on the top, and I just did a long tail cast on. So, and then for the toe, I usually go until I have about, I shape it until I have about 12 stitches left on each needle, and then I just Kitchener sew, and then that's my ball. And that one is in one of my loop bags. So these are just fantastic. I love these. And then I don't know, I can't remember where I was on my sock for my niece for Christmas. I don't know if I've gone any more. Again, I did the eye of, eye of partridge heel, and I'm only halfway through the heel, and this is the first sock. So this is going to be one of my hurry up and get it done projects, and that's on my hand dyed yarn. It was a one-of colorway that I did specifically for my niece, and it's called Maggie's Garden because my niece is called Maggie. And actually my niece is named sort of after me. My middle name is Lynn, so my sister named her Magdalene. Magdalene Faith, which is such a pretty name. We call her Mags. Maggie. I call her Mags. Magpie. But that's the one-of colorway that I did for her. And I'm keeping that in my Fringe Supply Company bento bag. Love this. I love this bag. So I really got to get going on this because this is for her for Christmas, and I feel like October is flying by and I still have a lot of Christmas knitting to do. So I need to get my shit together. Speaking of Christmas knitting, I finished one of my socks for my sister-in-law. And I also decided I was going to knit her a cowl as well. So this is like just a simple, it's sort of based on the sockhead hat cowl, but it's the cowl version. And oops, I'm going to move my tea so I don't dip it in it because that would be bad. So this is more of a, it's not quite a DK weight. This might be a sport weight. I lost the ball band on this one like ages ago. I've had it caked up for a while. So it's all these like lovely fall colors. oranges and greens and yellows, and all of them have like a bit of a kind of a rusty autumn look to them. So I'm gonna do this up for her to go with the socks. I don't know if she'll like it, because, you know, I don't know. But either way, what am I knitting these on? I am knitting these on my Chagoos. Size 2, which is 2.75, 24-inch circulars. And yeah, so I started this. This was my plain knitting. I didn't even take it out on the flight there. Did I take it out? I knit a little on the plane on the way back, but not much. We ended up, I was looped up on cold medicine, and you know, I was just feeling brain fried, so it's never a good state for me to be knitting in. So that's kind of projects. So right now I'm going to switch and show you what I've been knitting on. What I've been knitting on most of the time, which is my sister's Christmas gift. So it's living in the Beaver Bag from Longview Creations. So Al, as usual, look away! And I will stamp right here what time you can come back. So I'm opening the bag now. Apparently there was a big panic the last time, so I'm doing it really slow. Plenty of time, and bugger off. Okay. So this is what happens when your sister watches your podcast. Okay, Al, last chance. It's coming out of the bag. Don't ruin Christmas. I'll kill ya. I'll kill ya. All right. So we are doing. I'm all about Andrea Mallory lately. The Free Your Fade shawl. So for anybody where this is your first episode, I am knitting this from Fleece Artist, which is a local hand dyer. They did a project where they had a skein of yarn for each national park in all of the provinces in the 3 territories. So my sister loves the North. So I picked the 3 colors from the North. So this is the Yukon, this is Northwest Territories, this is Nunavet. And I'm doing the 3-color fade. So this is from Fleece Artist. I think I mentioned that. I think I have. Yeah, so there's their, oops, there. That's their, they're located in Halifax, Nova Scotia, which is where I'm from. Technically, I'm from New Glasgow, Nova Scotia, but I moved away from home after graduating high school, and now my whole family lives up here. So I'm knitting these on my Addy Turbo circulars, or no, sorry, my Addy Turbo Lace circulars. I love these needles. So I have finished the first color, and I have moved on to the second. So let me show you what I've got done so far. And I have to say, this is a really intuitive knit. I mean, when I get to the eyelet sections, I need to stop and collect myself. Which is the right side, outside, right side, inside, back side. There. So here is see if I'll pull this a little closer. All right. So this is, this is kind of hard to, I did make the one little goof here where I somehow managed to get myself backwards and I increased on the wrong side a few rows. And then when I tried to sort of get back there, I started screwing things up and I thought I'm going to have more of a mess in my hands. So I'm going to actually try to pull this out when I block it and see if that does the trick. But, and then of course here you can, you gotta see where it jets out a little. And you know what? Allison's not gonna be all wigged out about that. And she's like, that, according to Allison, that's what gives them homemade character. So, then I feel like I'm all over the place here. So I'm gonna stand up because, so this is where I started doing the fade. And now I'm on to the Northwest Territories section. And I love these blues. I was a little concerned about how well the colors were going to fade just because there's a lot of black in the Yukon colorway and there's the blues as well. But I was worried that the black might be a little too stark and that it wouldn't fade or mesh well. But now that I've kind of gotten a little more of the Northwest Territories section and I can see the fade more, I'm actually really happy with how it looks. So, go away. I don't even know if you guys can hear that dinging or not, but anyway, so this is the size so far. And it's actually a fairly quick knit. I'm hoping I can work on this a little bit before John's dad arrives. But I am really enjoying it. And yeah, like I'm really, and I think, I'm all over the place today. I should try finishing some of my sentences. But the Nunavet, I think, is going to fade beautifully from the Northwest into the Nunavet. I think that's going to look fantastic. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see how this turns out, and I'm really enjoying knitting it because it's very easy. There's not a whole lot of like changing. The eyelet row is probably the only time when I have to stop and figure out, you know, like pay really close attention and kind of count as I go, because otherwise I'll mess it up. But that's that, and that's kind of the biggest project that I'm working on right now. And I really want to try to finish it I want to try to get it done maybe by the first week of November. Because I definitely want to get started on the Andrea Mallory Comfort Fade Cardi for me, but I also have to get other projects done. So why don't we go into the queue? My tea's getting cold. So in the queue, really, I'm suffering from a major case of castonitis, and I'm trying to ignore it. But I bought a lot of patterns this week, and that's never a good sign. So, of course, there's the Comfort Fade Cardi, which I have the yarn for. But I also really want to do the everyday shawl. I really, really want to cast this one on. And this one takes 1, 2, 3, might be 5 colors. 5 colors? It's almost like a gradient that she's got going on here. Anyway, this is Jenny Faithville. I'm really bad at pronouncing names. Let's see if I can get it to come up. There we go. So I love this, and it looks like it's going to be a fairly easy knit. And I forget who it was that was talking about this now. I was watching one of the podcasts. I completely forget who it was that was mentioning this. But you're not going knitting this way. You're knitting this way. So you don't have like a ton of needles where you're just like knitting. So that'll be nice. That'll be, I think. And then you've got like several color changes, and it's not like a fade. It's just, and I do have a stash of singles that I may pull out for this, and I think they're all from Like in Lace. I have like this really vibrant blue, a really vibrant kind of almost magenta purple, and then I have some grays. I don't know if that'll work. I think that'll work. So that I want to cast on. And then the Summer Rain by Vera Valimaki. I mean, honestly, people, come on, look at this. Look at this if I can get it to focus. Summer Rain by Vera Valimaki. And that is that's beautiful. So I want to do that one. I still have my sweater, poor languishing daydream sweater, which is still, so here's my plan. Here's my plan. I gotta kick my feet up. Kick my feet up for this one. I may do the cardigan first, because I think that might be a little bit of an easier sweater knit than the top-down kind of shape jumper style. I could be completely wrong, because I've never knit a sweater before. But here's my plan. And I'm just formulating this in my head now as we speak. But here's my plan. I'm going to do the cardigan first, and that's a DK knit yarn as well. So it's going to go quicker than my other sweater, which I didn't bring up with me, which I think is more of a, it's not fingering weight. I don't think it's fingering weight. Anyway, but my plan is that I'll do that second. And hopefully after doing the cardigan, I'll feel a little more comfortable, I guess. Sweater knitting. I don't know. This could all go horribly wrong. Who knows? But I also want, I do want, but I also need to get my Christmas knitting done, because I am running out of time. So I have to finish my niece's socks. I have to finish my sister-in-law's socks and her cowl. And I have to start one of my nephew's socks that he wanted, and the hat that my other nephew wanted. And I actually have to dye the yarn for that as well, because he wanted it in kind of camouflage. So, yeah. Anyway, I got a lot to do. Oh, and also my husband wanted a scarf, and he picked out the yarn that I had that he wanted it made out of. So I've got to do up a new scarf for him. And I think that's everything. That's that. That's what's in the queue. Christmas knitting, comfort fade cardi, and that's it. So shop update. This is actually going to be really quick because in the last episode I showed you the new colorways, but I did have time to dye up one more. So I'm just going to show you this one. If I can get them all together. This one is called, can I do this? Let me see. This one's called And So It Goes. And I have this on my Gush, which is my MCM base, my Classic Sock base, and my Glitter Party, which is Stelina. And I don't know, I actually am noticing now that the sun is hitting my screen that there's a lot of dust on my screen, so I don't know if I'm showing it up the glitter or if that's just specks of dust. So just glitter, gold Stelina on that one. And then this is the Classic, and this is the Gush base. And this this is called And So It Goes because I had all these lofty plans that I was going to have a bigger update than what I actually do. So I have, my other new colorway is the Reaper. And I posted all of these except for And So It Goes because I just got that scanned up this morning on Instagram. So the colors here blow out a bit, but this is the Reaper, which was originally supposed to be a Christmas or a Halloween colorway, but I really love it. So I'm gonna keep this one in the shop. It's got like black speckles in it, which is what I'm trying to show you here as I talk to you. I don't know if that's shown up too well there. So that's the Reaper. This one is replenished September morn, so there's still a couple September morns left in the shop. This is from my autumn series, which I'm doing. So that is the September colorway, and this is A Walk in the Woods, which is my October colorway. So that's got all the vibrant colors, which again, it's getting blown out a bit here, but check on Instagram. And then this is All Things, All Things Being Equal. And everything has 2 to 3 bases that it's on. This is When Highlighters Revolt. So this has got all kinds of neon specks going through it. And then this is a replenishment of It's a Petunia, because I was running low on those. So that's going to be in the shop. The shop update, those will be in there on Sunday the 15th. And there's still other ones from the last update that are in there as well. So there'll be those ones plus any remaining. And that shop update is on the 15th of October, which is Sunday. And no particular time because, you know, I don't feel like I really am at a stage where I need to do that. But yeah, check out the shop, Loch Briar Knits on Etsy, and I'll just blurb it down here. There's some Christmas colorways left. There's some Halloween colorways left. And then just some other ones. So that's it for the shop update. And yeah, that was a quick one. Quick and dirty. So, total randomness. We did our anniversary trip to Edinburgh, Scotland. It was wonderful. And for the weather, it was amazing. The weather was amazing. I mean, I was expecting a fair amount of rain because it was Scotland. And I think it sprinkled on us 2 days for like 10 or 15 minutes, and then it would just get sunny. We went to like Edinburgh Castle. We went to Mary's King Close, which was Mary King's Close, which is basically you're almost going, you're not going underground, but they built the building that's there now almost on top of this historic, not housing unit, but homes and that. So you're kind of going underground, it feels, to look at where they preserved what they built over, which was amazing. Like if you ever look it up online, it's called Mary King's Close. I'll put it here. It's phenomenal. Like it was really, really interesting. We went to Holyrood Palace on our last day, and after we did that, we climbed up Arthur's Seat, which I've got a little montage of like some things we did that I'm going to put at the end if anybody's interested. But the Arthur's Seat, you climb and you climb and you climb, and it was really windy, so the little video montage I'll do without sound, unless you want to like listen to the sound of the wind blowing into the microphone. We went to Greyfriars, which is an old cemetery, and if you've ever heard of Greyfriars, Bobby, I think he's called an abbot. I could have my term wrong there. He had a little Scotty dog named Bobby. And when the abbot passed away, the dog kept vigil at his master's grave until he passed away. So they did a little, and then they buried him next to his master. So the little pup has his own little shrine, and people leave sticks there for him, and it was really sweet. I just loved it. I would move there in a heartbeat. Seriously. The reno for the office is somewhat on hold right now. It's probably, I'm not going to get to the painting for a couple weeks now. So it's probably going to be November before that's done. So I don't know if we're going to be podcasting from here until then, or if I can kind of eke out a little corner there. But what we did do was we went to IKEA, because IKEA just opened here a few weeks ago, and I picked out, I'm getting rid of the desk that I have down there. Like right now I have this long desk, and I'm going to give that to my sister. And then next to it is this end table that's like about that big, where I keep the printer. And I thought I don't sit down there and work on the computer anymore, so I don't need that desk. What I need is more space. So I thought I'm going to go to IKEA and get a standing desk. And I think I showed a picture of the one that I had planned to get, and I was walking to pick it up in the storage area where they house all the boxes and things, and I walked by something in the kitchen area, and I thought, wait, that may work even better, and instead of being $199, it's only $69.99. So this is what I ended up with. And see if you can see it here. And it moves. It's got the wheels on it here on one side, so I can move it around if I need to. So it's got the level, so I can put my computer up here, my laptop when I go down, and I can fit my sewing machine on this level and my printer down here on this level. So that frees up an entire wall. And then I also picked up, let's see if you can see this little thing here. I picked this thing up as well, and I'm going to use that to hold my dies in, and just like some other little paraphernalia. And again, it's got wheels on it, so I can move it around. So I love IKEA stuff. I love it. It's got a nice clean aesthetic. So we're going to go back because I actually picked out, but I'm waiting until after I get the room painted, is it's sort of like this, only it's twice as long. Next weekend, I'm away Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I have a writer's retreat that we do every year, and that's at White Point Beach, which is beautiful, and it's going to be with all the fall colors probably out by then. And we rent a cottage there, and it's just 3 days of me and my writing crew drinking wine, writing, eating lots of food. I'm in charge of snacks, so I'm going to have to I should probably wait until Friday morning to buy the snacks so I don't eat them all. So yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that, and yeah, I think that's really about it. I might do a little montage too for when I go to the writing retreat. See my other obsession, the other side of my obsessions. So until I see you guys next, thank you so much for showing up. My hair is going crazy now because I've been so to all the returning subscribers, thank you so much for showing up. All the new subscribers, thank you. I love that you guys show up and you know, watch this disjointed madness that I throw at you every couple of weeks. And if you're a first-time viewer, please hit the subscribe button so you know when the next episodes are up. And hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed the episode. That helps kind of get the word out. And I think that's about everything. So I'm going to let you guys go. And until I see you next, happy knitting and enjoy the fall weather. See you later.
Little burst of sunshine. This is from the ground view. And this is John's shoe. And this is the rest of him. Check it out, I'm at a castle. I'm at a palace. It's like a castle. Shut up. Let me live my dream.
Just use the right word. Grammatically correct.
You go first. That way if you fall, I have something to land on.
Only I just can restore me to my